Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for telling my parents nobody wants to hear about the daughter they gave up for adoption in front of my boyfriend's parents? My parents had a kid before me, 17M, and they gave her up for adoption because they were young, my age. They had an open adoption with her and saw her sometimes, and when I was born they really pushed this idea that we were one family and she would live with us again, and she adored me. But the memories I have of her are way different. She stuck to her adoptive family and only claimed her adoptive sibling as siblings. She used to tell me she didn't want me to call her my sister, and she'd correct me if I called my parents our parents. She'd tell me her parents were the people raising her. It confused me because my parents would say something different, and I used to get a little anxious about seeing her because I felt like she didn't like me, and my parents said I was wrong, so it was confusing. It was 10 years ago that we last saw her. I forget if she was 16 or 17 by then, but she told her parents she didn't want contact anymore, and they told my parents the visits were going to end. My parents never got over it, and it hurt our relationship. They kept filling me with lies about her coming to live with us and loving us, and how she was still ours and she'd be back in our lives soon. They'd tell me I was wrong when I'd bring up how she didn't like seeing her and how she didn't like me. Even when we no longer saw her, they'd say I was wrong. I feel like my parents fucked me up with that stuff when I was younger. And the thing is, they feel like our life should be focused around the child they gave up and the relationship we'll all have someday. I gave up asking why she didn't get in touch yet. She's got to be 27 now, and we still heard nothing from her. They don't want to accept it. And they hate when people think I'm an only child and I don't correct it. They told me I need to always talk about my sister, and I should be doing everything to let her know I love and miss her. I'm with my boyfriend, 17M, now, and he's great. His family is amazing too. They know I struggle with my parents. So his parents suggested inviting mine for dinner to see if they could maybe encourage my parents to focus on the kid they have instead of the one they don't have. But my parents talked all the time about the daughter they gave up, and they kept saying how I couldn't get married until she's back, and telling my boyfriend he should get ready to have a SIL if we stay together. My boyfriend's parents would try to change the subject, and my parents kept the topic of their daughter going. The breaking point for dinner was when they asked my boyfriend's parents about their daughter, and my boyfriend's parents didn't know the answer. I don't talk about her much. My parents told me if I'm serious about my boyfriend, they should know everything about their daughter so we can all be a family in the future, and they told me they were ashamed of me keeping her a secret, and how I need to talk about her more. I told them nobody wants to hear about her. They're the only people who want to make sure everyone knows about her and gets personal info on everything. I said people really don't care, and they need to stop making it such a big deal. I told them I don't have to make their daughter my whole personality. My boyfriend's mom tried to point out that they're pushing me away and they should be enjoying having me. But my parents only cared that I said their daughter shouldn't be talked about all the time. They were furious. We argued, and I ended up staying at my boyfriend's house for a couple of nights, but then my parents made me go home, and they said I had no business taking to them like that in front of others. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for not wanting to bring my girlfriend to a wedding? I have a family wedding coming up, the family's first wedding in like 10 years, so it is a big deal for the family. When I take my girlfriend of a year plus to events, she wants me to babysit her, sit by her, expects me to introduce her to every person. In contrast, take me to an event, I am fine, I am happy not to be introduced to anyone. If I want to talk, I will go introduce myself. Not that long ago, I took her to my uncle's 88th birthday party. He lives in a nursing home. I knew maybe 4 people out of 25 there. I started mingling and meeting the people, trying to understand their relationship with my uncle. On the way home, she eviscerated me. You left me there sitting with your aunt. You didn't introduce me to everyone, etc. All I could think about was, how about, I don't bring you next time, it's not worth all this. As additional info, she is like a CEO type, runs an organization, getting her way on most things. Recently, I took her to a gala that had about 400 plus people. I probably knew 100 personally. It was an event that most people did not bring their significant others because it was expensive. Probably 15% did. On the way there, she gave me a lecture, don't leave her, etc. So walking in, I introduced her to everyone that I ran into on the way to our seats, probably 10 to 15 people, but then I just sat at our table. I only talked to people at my table. I felt so constricted. So finally, I said, let me go talk to my friends over there, and I spent about 10 to 15 minutes talking to people that I knew. Additional info, it is a cross-country relationship. She happens to live near my hometown, which I visit regularly and thereby visit her. She comes out to visit me on occasion. She has met my cousins, particularly the groom's mother, whom she has become friends with, so she knows all the details about the wedding, which is also in a different state. So to go to the wedding, both of us would have to travel. Last night, as I was home alone, I had an epiphany. I really don't want her to come to the wedding with me. All I could think about was all my cousins and family that I haven't seen in forever and being constricted in just hanging with them. She is going to feel like a boat anchor at this once-in-a-decade family event. Maybe I have just been an about this my entire life, not doing introductions properly. Maybe I am just not happy about other things. I flew in for a long weekend and she wanted to go out to Jazz Place. She made reservations. She must always have reservations wherever she goes, and while out, she got sick, probably bad food earlier. We left early and she is driving home in a brand new luxury vehicle and she pulls over quickly, opens the door and starts vomiting. Covering the door, the cup holders, the hand holds, everything with vomit. We finally make it home and she goes to bed. I go out to her car and clean the vomit from everywhere. I get a bucket of soap and water and clean it completely, but I realize that some of the vomit is so deep in the hand wells that I need to take a small bit of it apart, clean it and let it dry separately. So I leave a piece out on the console to fully dry. The next day, she is feeling better and has to go somewhere and I say, don't mind that little piece that I had to take off the door of the car. She starts complaining about how I have comprised the warranty on her car and how I need to go put it back together this very moment, etc. I responded by saying, it's not a big deal, not going to affect your warranty, etc. She continues to shriek about this, so I get up and spend 30 seconds putting the piece back in place. Something about the sequence just irritated me. I just want to go to the wedding and have fun, enjoy my family, but realize that if I don't take her with me, the relationship is probably over. What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for refusing to help my parents financially after they paid for my siblings' lavish wedding but not mine? I, 32F, got married 2 years ago. At the time, my parents told me they couldn't afford to contribute to my wedding because of financial struggles. My husband and I accepted this, paid for everything ourselves, and even kept the event small to avoid any financial burden on anyone. Fast forward to now, my younger brother, 28M, just got married, and my parents paid for everything. I'm talking about a huge, extravagant wedding with a fancy venue, open bar, live band, and over 200 guests. It's clear they spent tens of thousands of dollars on this. When I asked them why they were able to fund his wedding but not mine, they brushed me off, saying their financial situation improved, and they wanted to give my brother the wedding he deserved. Recently, my parents asked me to help them out financially because they're tight on money again after the wedding expenses. I flat out refused, telling them that it wasn't fair for them to ask me for help when they showed clear favoritism. Now they're saying I'm being petty and holding a grudge. Some relatives agree with me, while others think I'm being too harsh since family helps family. I feel justified because I've always been financially independent, and they didn't show me the same support they gave my brother. But now I'm wondering, Am I the bad person for refusing to help my parents financially after they paid for my siblings' lavish wedding but not mine? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.